Everyone that's here is engaging somehow with their customers. So if you think about, well, what's engagement? We're talking here about online versus offline. Online is getting the visitor to do something that's planned to be performed on your website. So you're actually planning to perform it. Now, if you think about your websites, how much interaction do you get into your website? How much do you do in an online sort of a capacity? Offline is not intruding upon people. If you think of all the marketing that you get through your letterbox and people calling you and all of those, they're intruding upon your time. Would you agree? You know, and if they're intruding, are you likely to listen to them? Most probably not. So what you need to do is you need to instead get their involvement, get them offline involved. And there are quite a few exhibitors around here today that are getting their customers involved. One's that's got Lania and Tashia, the ladies there, the beauticians. They've actually got some machinery. That's engagement. And if you think about sales, if you think sales logically, you'll only get 20% response. But if you start thinking emotionally, you'll get 80% response. And I've got some examples of emotion to show you towards the end. But don't sell logically, A, B, C, D, it's got to be done this way. Think of, how can I get my business with some emotion into it? How can I demonstrate your words, your copyright? Has it got emotion written into your copywriting? So if you think about online, create a value event. And in particular, say for example, travel. You know, if you can get people to start visiting, even like travel blogs, where people have travelled, where they've been, the success of that home loan, for example, or the beauty of that safety, that you've actually saved someone's life. You know, isn't that powerful? But if you think of this as a online creating a value event, think about registration. How can I get them to come online and register and offer them some value? A newsletter, for example, or something else. Ordering information, products. Think about getting their order online. Think of the evaluation. How can I use the questionnaire response? Because if you've got people visiting your website, wouldn't it be nice to know what they think of your website? If you've had some interaction with them, wouldn't it be great for them to see, like say for example, they've ordered from you. Wouldn't it be great to see some response on what they thought of that, as in an online capacity sort of way? Video streaming. You know, if you can get a video stream of someone that's done something relevant to your solution that you've provided them, and it gives them something a bit more than just the brochure, it gives them that emotional impact. That's much, much more, and you break through and you get more involvement that way, more engagement. Using keywords such as free, special, and of course receive. Get something. You're not just giving away information online. Create some sort of engagement with the customer. In an offline capacity, if you're thinking about marketing, what about your proposals? What about your brochures? What about your lead generation strategies? What do you do there that it gets engagement? Because if you're getting engagement, again, you're getting some sort of activity, not just intrusion. And if you're thinking about sales, how can you show samples? How can you give people something that they can test? Look at Valor Cellars. They've got wine open. They've got cheese and bickies. That's engagement. You know? And no matter what stand, what business you're in, you can get engagement. You just got to start thinking about it. What about a trial or a visit? Let's go off and see some people that have used my service. How can I get more people doing that? And if you think about marketing and sales for a moment, a lot of people really don't know the difference between what is marketing and what is sales. But if you think about marketing and sales, there's 5 ways you can market, and there are 4 ways that you can sell. And if you think about your business, are you marketing or are you selling? You know, if you're marketing and all that you're doing is generating new leads or focusing on existing customers, that's great. But certainly focus on number 2 first before number 1. Don't just keep generating new leads. Think about existing customers. What's their frequency of their purchase? How often do they buy from you? What's your overheads? On the sales side, what's your conversion rate? You know, how many conversions? So in other words, you make so many contacts. Those contacts result in so many proposals, say, or quotes. And how many of those then result in an actual sale? And know those numbers. Track them. Because the more that you know what your numbers are, the more that you can improve, because then you're tracking something. What's the cost of goods? Every one of us here has a supplier of some kind. You can't manufacture on your own. You know, no matter, even if you are into sign manufacturing, you need someone to produce the raw materials for you. You don't do anything here in the world on your own. So what's your cost of goods? You can review that. That's a sales activity. And your gross profit. You can increase your gross profit tomorrow by putting up your price. That's a sales activity. So if you were prioritising where would you spend most of your time, it'd have to be in sales, because you're already incurring that cost. Marketing is a cost. Sales, you're already incurring the cost. So you've got to be focused on 6, 7, 8 and 9. I've got a good summary sheet back at the WebTech online-offline brochure that actually gives you a summary of each of those 9. So please come back to P23 and have a look at that brochure. That'll help you out. But engagement's the key, and I want you to start thinking too about your customers. No matter what industry, whether you're in the beautician industry or whatever the market is, first thing you do is you initiate. So that means you get the customer. They join you. Then what do? You have to integrate them. So you integrate them into your operations. What do you then do after that? Gather intelligence. Find out a little bit more about them. What other services can you sell? You're actually gaining knowledge on that person. You've got to keep them. Don't let them go to your competition. And then last of all, create some value, not sell on price. So create some value. Develop new, mutually beneficial opportunities. There's many things you could do. So each stage defines what customers should think, feel and do, and a desired end status. What is it you want from your customer? And what do they want from you? So I'm going to give you some examples. That's the Starbucks questionnaire. How many of you have got questionnaires? How many of you actually do ask your customers, well, what do you think? You know, and that could be online or it could be offline. And put some emotion into it. You can see the emotion there with the cup of coffee and the nice hand around it. A gift voucher. I've distributed gift vouchers today here for exhibitors and for visitors. But do you have an online gift voucher that you can give to people? You can get customers coming to your online website, picking up a gift voucher and giving it to somebody else. Or when they are referred by someone else, they pick up one. But also offline, you can give people vouchers. If you want to cross-sell, add on more products, you can actually get vouchers distributed to your database. Ian Cubits. I don't know if you've heard of Ian Cubits. They're a home builder. They actually redesign homes and add on extensions and things like that. They know that the building industry is a very competitive market. How do you break through the competition? If you know your competition, what they did was they said, well, sure, you're going to go off and get a quote from someone else. We know there's other people out there doing this. They actually developed a checklist. You know, what's your contractor license number? Where can I see examples of their work? When do you expect to start the work and how long will it take? What are the procedures for supervision of the work? Do they have proper insurance? So it sort of creates a little bit, like if you know you're under competition, work out what it is that people might need to do to protect what you offer, not what they do. There's Ducks. Now Ducks is at the back of the room, courtesy of Mitre 10. They actually put more emotion into their brochures by actually selling Ducks water heater with a man sitting in a bathtub, looking at a brochure. That's emotion. You know, logically, yeah, you could have the Ducks water heaters, but geez, isn't it hard selling a Ducks water heater? You know, how bland and how bizarre. But put in some emotion. It's a good example of emotion. When I bought my 3 phone, I went on a 3 plan. They have a sales checklist. And they should take the salesperson and the customer through a process of making sure that nothing gets missed. So, you know, when you've got the travel thing happening or the beautician or the web, whatever it is you do, you're selling stuff. Make sure you don't miss an opportunity. Okay, so that's the sort of example of how they have a checklist. So that's pretty much it. See us at stand 23. We've got workshops that we do. There's more stuff on online, offline. We've got examples. We can have some discussion. We can do a free analysis. Thanks for your time.